It is a Monday, July 14th, 2025. 2025. Hope everyone has had a good weekend. If you're a Browns fan, if you're a Cleveland fan, it's been an interesting weekend. Thanks for following us here on the Fanatical Elves Network, part of Fans First Sports Network. Being a Browns fan, it can be a challenge. It has its ups and it has its downs. This week, was it Saturday night? Yes. Saturday night, it came out that Quinshon Judkins, the Browns draft pick in the second round, this past draft, was arrested down in Miami, or not in Miami, in Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, for a domestic issue, delayed battery. Stories have come out since then. He was put in jail Saturday night, spent the night in jail, faced the judge on Sunday, was released on $2,500 bond. The story goes that this person that he was involved with, had dated previously, it looks like going back a year and a half ago, traveled with this individual down to Fort Lauderdale over a week ago, on July 7th, when reportedly this incident happened. The individual and Quinshon spent the week together, according to the initial reports. These are initial reports, up to 5 days. I read somewhere that there was a gathering party of some sort, birthday. I'm not quite sure on that. But there was some event that they attended together. They spent the week together. And on Saturday, the report was filed by this other individual. Quinshon was thus taken into custody, arrested, and spent the night in jail, was released yesterday. I have not seen anything earlier this morning. That it's about 11:15, 11:20 on Monday morning, checking outlets and social media blogs and whatnot. I haven't seen any updates, but that's the latest. Initially, everybody under the sun had their opinions, especially if you're a Browns fan. And I'm going to talk about that here in a split second. It is surprising. It was shocking to most of us. I don't think any of us were expecting that news. As a Browns fan, you always kind of hold your breath and wait to see what happens next. It's been an interesting series of years. And in this great divide amongst our Browns fan base, we can look at where it started. But just in general, specifically to Quinshon Judkins, for those of you, and you know who you are on social media, it is I'll just start with the fact that it's extremely annoying, and you can unfollow us here on the Fanatical Elves. That be my guest. Those of you out there that are continually trying to share this negative narrative, push this negative narrative about this Browns organization, and somehow you're taking what just happened Saturday night without any really specific details. Yes, details are starting to come out, and try to negate every aspect of the Browns organization. We know that you hate the Haslams. We know you don't like rich people. I can't help the fact that the Haslams have money. You can say however you want about how those owners and the organization makes their money and how they do that, but it's rather annoying. I can live with your annoyance. I can read through it. I can skip through it. I can unfollow you, and we've done here on the Fanatical Elves Network. I have done that personally too, to many of you who are continually bashing an organization that you say you're a fan of. If you're a fan of the Cleveland Browns, then start showing that in more positive ways, because your take and your pushback on that sentiment, you don't have a good story. You don't have a good comeback because your narratives have always been negative. And there's some of you out there that are behind that keyboard, and man, you just think that you just have it all, and everybody under the sun is agreeing with you. Listen, first and foremost, we are Cleveland Browns fans. If you can't support a team, then stop being a fan. Go root for Cincinnati. Go root for the Squealers. We don't want you as a Cleveland Browns fan. If you're constantly bashing the owners and ownership that is planning on building a brand new stadium down in Brook Park, and that's another point of contention with many of you. I'm not going to change your opinion here in the Fanatical Elves Network. We're not going to try to change your opinion about that. But if you can't get on board with what's coming down the pike, then go root for some other team. It's beyond annoying. You really aren't a fan. And if you say that you're a fan, you're not. So when you can come to that conclusion and you continually lambaste us fans who are supporting the team, and no, I don't agree with everything that the ownership is doing. I don't agree with everything that Andrew Berry has done or Kevin Stefanski. But don't say that us fans who are moving forward and being positive have blinders on and that we're being taken. That's just complete arrogance, and you know, just you're being an idiot. and if and maybe some people have to tell you that, and maybe you read that to yourself when you're going through your social media posts and people tell you that you're an idiot, and you're just going to completely disagree with that just because of who you are and because you are an idiot. So figure it out, because if you can't figure it out, go root for another team. It is rather annoying. This great divide. Well, before we get more into that, Quinshon Judkins, no red flags. Those of you out there again in that other category of Browns fans who are annoying, you dug and dug and dug yesterday to try and find dirt on this kid. Look, I looked things up too. I'll do that little, the Google search and this and that. Those of you who found the story about how Quinshon Judkins was a cancer or a divide in the locker room at Ole Miss, my God, you had to go to like page 20 to find that. And that article was just written because he was going on to Ohio State. So stop trying to drive this narrative that the Browns are trying to bring in all these dirty players and the organization doesn't know what they're doing. That is completely and utterly false. And you guys are being idiots for trying to spread that narrative. Idiots. Quinshon Judkins was an upstanding kid. Go read some other articles that you bypassed because you thought you wanted to spread your dirty work. The kid's worked hard his entire life. He has a mom and a dad, all bonuses. Mom's an attorney, dad's a businessman. Kid was taking classes back in high school. I work in high schools. Kid worked hard, took a lot of advanced classes, AP classes, blah, blah, blah. He did all of that. He graduated early. He went to Ole Miss early. Go read those articles. Go find out go spread that information to others. You won't, because you don't like positivity. But the kid did not have a track record. He didn't have a track record. So what has happened is very sad. It's disappointing, obviously. Obviously, he has to live with that for the rest of his life. You don't care about that. All you care about is this hatred that you have for this Browns organization. I hope that Quinshon Judkins, whatever happens moving forward, can get worked out. And hopefully the situation, and that's between him and whatever, the other people that he was involved with, can get worked out. But he has to deal with those consequences. He needs to be held accountable for that. Those of you who continually bash this organization, I keep saying this, like that the Browns and Andrew Berry and the Haslams are picking terrible players with criminal records. That's just completely false. Now, I did share, the Fanatical Elves Network did share out a post yesterday on our social media Twitter page about the teams over the since the year 2000. Yahoo Sports put this out. It came out last year in 2024. The number of arrests by team, just so you could kind of see that the Minnesota Vikings lead the league in players that have had the most arrests. Cleveland was number 6. No, it's not ideal to be number 6, but they're not number 1, and the Bungles are number 3. So take that at take that for what it's worth. We don't want to see players being arrested. As an organization, as a league, the NFL, the percentages of players that are being arrested compared to the number of players that are in the league is lower compared to the normal rates out there in the United States. I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee here. So take it for what it's worth. But this negative narrative is just annoying. This great divide amongst the fan base. I'm writing about it right now for the Fanatical Elves Network and Northeast Ohio Sports Insiders. It's, as fans, we've always had divides. None of us are going to agree on everything. We look at things differently. It's about perspective. My entire being, my career as a counselor, as a individual, and even with this podcasting, it's about perspective. You and I are not going to agree on everything. This network's not going to agree with your network on everything. How we look at individual actions are going to be different. You go back to 2021, Deshaun Watson, the whole fiasco and this trade and everything else. This is where in the last 5-6 years it has really magnified this split, this divide amongst the Browns fan base. Browns fans are frustrated because Browns fans know that this organization has not had a great deal of success over generations. They've had periods of success. Most recent period of time, we have not. It's frustrated the fan base. Deshaun Watson gets traded here. There were fans that were very supportive of this move, and there were many fans who were not. That started this even greater divide, I believe. Then that it moved into this whole, the front office and then the Haslams, and now we've moved into this whole stadium. It's crazy for me on a personal level when as a fan, and I've loved going down to the old Municipal Stadium when I was a kid. I love going down to the lakefront in Cleveland to go to see a Browns game. And if the Browns would have built a new stadium again or a dome down there, great. But it's not going to happen. It's going to get built next in Brook Park. I'm not the hugest fan of the move, but it's going to be fantastic. I've talked about the fact that when the Browns or when the Indians moved into the new Jacobs Field in 1994, what a thrill that was for Browns or for Cleveland fans. You had gone and sat in the old Municipal Stadium where 80,000 seats and there's 10,000 fans at the game, and you'd sit there. It was like a ghost town. You walk into the new Jacobs Field, fantastic, overwhelming. It was like out of a script, out of a movie. When you would walk in, see that green grass and the billboards and the outfield, and it was just spectacular. What's wrong with you Browns fans? Why can't you wrap your heads, those of you who are so anti-dome, around the idea that this is going to happen with the football team? You are just hell-bent on hating the Haslams, that you can't see anything good with what's going to happen over the next 10 years. Yeah, we're moving down the road. It's going to be a dome. It's 15 minutes from downtown, probably 10 minutes if you drive fast. And I've seen a bunch of